Alle Teilnehmer befinden sich im Zuhörermodus.
Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. You are very, very welcome on this call. It is kind of a bit remarkable, really, because we only announced this a couple of days ago, and we've already had we had something like 800 people joining up for this here now. So this is a record webinar, and it's kind of the same as we do on a Monday, which is kind of a big update session. But in particular, I wanted to talk to you about a particular program that we're calling 10-10-10. Now, the context of this is that we have had meetings with our Chinese speaking leaders. We are currently having our executives, the largest ever executive meeting that we've ever done in Cambodia, and we've kind of done a reveal and a training there around this as well. But we felt that we wanted to take this straight to you from the horse's mouth, if you like, and share with you, because this is kind of an important one, and it was better to run it as a separate webinar than wait for Monday, because there's I think every webinar that we do over the next few months will be quite extraordinary, because there are things moving. Having said that, the context of this is, I suppose that we're coming out of a very, very challenging period, and certainly in terms of my personal life, I've had many opportunities to consider something that I hold to be self-evident and true, which is that everything happens for a reason, and everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to, when it's supposed to. So therefore, some of the challenges that I've faced in the last 2 years, I have often scratched my head and wondered, why is this happening, and why is this coming to me now? But while I am not kind of a model Christian, if I put it that way, I suppose it's true that God has a plan, and then we can't understand what that plan is. We kind of just have to live it and trust that good things happen. I like this prayer. It's something that in Christian faith is the Lord's Prayer, is written in 1732 by a scholar in Germany. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Everything has come together now in a way that the conditions are about to create a perfect storm, in a good way. But it's kind of like when the conditions of the atmosphere are such, and ocean currents and temperatures are such, you can have a combination of these things coming together, and then you can create a perfect storm. Well, Leo is about to go into its perfect storm. Now, in that context, one of the things that we have trained our network on is that the early bird gets the worm. What that means is that when we launch a new program or a new incentive or a new product, what has been proven time and time again is that the early adopters are the ones that do fantastically out of that. They grab the energy, they grab the innovation, they grab that thing and move it forward. And when you reverse engineer and analyze what happened with this or that or the other program, you can always see that the people who benefit the most are the people that get involved first. And so in that sense, all of you on this webinar, you are the early birds, because you're hearing about this first, and you'll be able to get your house in order and enjoy and participate in that. The other thing that we've also seen is that the second mouse gets the cheese. And I want to just remind you of that as well, because it's easy in a business such as ours to get faked out. It's easy also to be faked out by people that come on board and that they promise you that they're going to do this, and that they say that you're going to be able to relax now because they're on board and they're going to make you rich. And people who think with their wallet and people who think with their short-term hat on, they always get faked out and suck it out. So we have had people who, you know, the famous pizza story of Bitcoin, when someone bought a takeaway pizza or a home delivery pizza for an extraordinary amount of several thousand bitcoins or whatever the facts are of that. We've got people who have been faked out and have dumped their Leo coin, that have kind of walked away from the inherent promise of the future, and so they were kind of the first mouse in this visual metaphor. The second mouse are the people who are a little bit more intelligent, and they kind of observe the reality around them, and they understand and analyze the business logic of stuff, and they think, oh, hold on a minute, and they're the ones that get the cheese. In the context of this presentation and me talking to you today, you are both the early bird and the second mouse, because one of the things that we have done, and some of it by design and some of it by accident, if I'm totally honest with you, is we've created a small community of people who are big stakeholders in our business. Now we're ready now. Everything has kind of come together, and today, right now, you are the first to hear the entire plan, if you like, and what's about to happen. So you are both the second mouse and the early bird, because you are sitting in a very, very good position, and once I've gone through this presentation, which will take maybe half an hour or so, maybe 45 minutes, you will understand that there's something big moving here, and you'll understand how this is coming together, like I say, in a perfect storm. Now, the reality of our business, if you look at that white circle there, it's our first 7 years. That's from 2012 to 2019. And to not overanalyze or self-congratulate ourselves too much, but everything we have achieved so far is in that small white circle. The Great Wall of China event, our launch event in front of the pyramids, our Houses of Parliament events, our trade mission with Boris Johnson, who's now set to become the first, the next Prime Minister in the UK when I travelled with him. All of that stuff, including America, including all of the markets, including all of the offices, including all of the field network that we built, all of that is contained in that first white dot. And it is kind of a remarkable story, and I'm very, very proud, because most companies don't survive in this industry. They don't survive 2 years, they don't survive 3 years, they don't survive 5 years, and to get through and be here 7 years later is quite something. Notwithstanding that we're pleased with that achievement, I'll tell you straight, we have had our challenges as well. We have had our difficulties. We have faced different times in our 7-year history when we thought, oh goodness, how do we get through this? How do we survive that? How can we deal with so much bad energy? How can we deal with so much greed, so much avarice, so many bad short-term people? But what happens over time is that you move forward, and there you are, and things happen the way they're supposed to, and you kind of have to cleanse your garden, and if you sort out the weeds, and you can't observe the growth, but over time the trees go from being a small plant into a bush, into a shrubbery, into a tree, and that growth happens as you plug away and you keep tending your garden. Now, where we're going next is into a much bigger business, and that's what this presentation is about, and I'm going to share that with you, because we are ready now, and things have come together, and I will explain, and that community will build bigger. Now, the reason that I can be so sure of that is that I was the vice president in a company that had 20 million distributors. I have created programs that drove multiple million people member acquisitions. I have seen what this industry does from a DSA context when I've been the host of DSA conferences and what have you, and seen all of the big companies there. They are multiple million people organizations, of part-time people, of sometime people, of all the time people. But direct selling is this big network thing of a lot of people sharing a vision, a lot of people sharing a passion and building something together. And of course, what happens there is that you have something that just rises with the power of these people. Not that I want to go into any politics or anything, but I'm also at the moment quite inspired by some of the things that I see happening in the world. In particular, this last week in Hong Kong, 2 million people out of a population of 7 million hit the streets to protest things that were eroding their legislative framework and their democratic processes and their sense of Hong Kong and what their future should be. And having 2 million people hit the streets, it is kind of part of the same thing, that there's a power in the crowd, there's a power in the masses. There's something about direct selling and network marketing and multi-level marketing that is, again, very, very powerful. And the way that we, in our small circle, have connected people from so many different countries, so many different cultures, so many different religions is something that I still pinch myself about. In Cambodia today, we had people from 20 different countries attending our largest ever executive trip, from new markets that have only joined us really in the last year or so to markets that have been with us for the last 7 years. And so again, it's remarkable to see people from South Asia, people from Africa, people from China, people from North America, people from Europe, people from the Caribbean coming together and sharing this Leo vision. So there is remarkable stuff going on there. But if we look at that a little bit more closely, we have, as I think most of you would be aware, we have something in the order of 500,000 sign-ups. Now that is quite something. That's 500,000 accounts. So again, not a small number, not something to be sneezed at, but in direct selling terms, fairly modest. And the reality, if you are a leader or if you're a new person, I don't mind telling you both. The reality is that if you build a network, about 10% of those people will be engaged. In other words, our 500,000 sign-ups turn into 50,000 people who are engaged, and people who are really active, people who are really pushing and driving and doing something. Maybe it's 10% of those. It's hard to analyze. It's hard to know where to draw those lines, but it kind of goes 500, 50K, 5,000. And everything we have achieved in Leo, that little circle in the lower left corner, comes from those numbers. And that is interesting. But because after 7 years we have that, and one of the things that we also have in Leo in particular that I'm very, very proud of, is that we have a lot of people who are not necessarily active. They might not be doing very much, but they're still with us. And if you present to them a program or an incentive or a product, they engage and re-engage again. So the power of the network is that the longer you stay in business, the more muscle you have. And we have now today, in a way that we didn't have 2 years ago, certainly not 4 years ago, certainly not 7 years ago. We have a geographical cover now on the planet because we get sales every week now from many, many markets. And if you look at our geographical spread, it includes some kind of extraordinary observations that I could make. For instance, we have feet on the ground in China. We have feet on the ground in India. We have feet on the ground in Africa. And we're talking there of 4 billion people, just those 3 markets alone. If you then add small markets like Pakistan and Indonesia and the Philippines, and if you then made that list 50 markets deep, you can see that we are covering a huge proportion of the planet's population in geographical terms. That means that we have a geographical spread that covers and cuts across economies, cuts across different levels of affluence, different levels of education, different cultures, different religions, and all of these things. And together, it becomes very compelling because what we can do in one market, we can't do in another. So the trick, and which you'll see here today, is to launch programs that appeal to all of them. Now, the overriding priority for us as a business and for us as a community and for us as a team, you and me, is to go to the next level. And I'm going to show you how we're doing that. If you look at it like whatever network you have, whatever team you have, to some extent, sometimes you want to think, oh my goodness, I wish I could just get these people moving. I wish that they cared as much for their success as I care for their success. And in a sense, your business and your network being made up of people is one of the most wonderful things in the world and one of the most frustrating things in the world. But it is what it is. But how do you start an engine? Well, I'm using this as a metaphor now, so that if you say that you have an engine, for instance, if you have an outboard engine on a boat, how do you start that thing? Well, you have to make a big effort to pull on a string and get the engine to fire up and start, if you like. Old-fashioned cars used to have big cranks on the front of them when you had to turn. Old-fashioned motorbikes, when I grew up, they had a big kick pedal that you had to kick down to start your engine up. So you have to do a heroic effort to crank the engine. You have to pull at something, kick at something, turn something, and of course modern cars do that in combustion engine terms with a battery operated thing. So you don't even see the effort, but it's a big thing to go from inertia, from being still, to fired up. And then when you've got it going, the engine fires up. And in a great explosion, in a great big cloud of smoke sometimes, the engine is now running of its own steam. In direct selling, this process is called building momentum. You have a fire, that's the fire's gone out of your hearth, the fire looks all cold, it's all sort of dark and gloomy, and then you poke the embers, you poke the coals, and suddenly the fire roars up and takes and catches on again. But what you need is a massive effort, you need a lever, and you need a spark. So what am I talking about here? Well, effort, lever, and spark. That the effort is you and our international community working together. The Chinese doing their thing, the Africans doing their thing, the South Asians doing their thing, the Dubai region doing its thing, Europe, North America, South America, Caribbean, the Francophone markets, the English-speaking markets, the different communities, working together and each contributing something to this effort. The lever, the tool, the cord, the thing that gives you the mechanical leverage is the program. And in this case, we're going to give you something that is very, very cool called the 10-10-10 program. This is something that fundamentally we are giving away something for free that has enormous value. And the spark in this metaphor is the sudden rise of the price of Leo coin. So what we have is three different things that are coming together here. There's one product that's just been launched, went live I think yesterday, called LMS Exchanges. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. There's the 10-10-10 program, and then there's the Leo Causes, which we launched quite some while back, and there's a narrative and a story there that I want to share with you. Now, the Leo Coin Market Service Exchanges, the LMS Exchanges, is a service that we're launching into the markets now, which we've kind of arrived at from a couple of different approaches and angles over the last sort of 3 to 6 months, really. And fundamentally, we have a product here where people get what it is that they actually want. And one of the things that builds into this is that it gives market support to Leo Coin because it's called exchanges for a reason. Now, the price of this is so much and the reward of this is so much, exactly the same as the price that you paid for it. And the RP is so much and the BP is so much. As you can see, there's some sliders there that we've applied. But the fundamental trick of this is that the members will be getting, the customers will be getting what it says on the tin. And this is very powerful because it becomes a no-brainer deal. And where we get the assets for them to go into this product is on the external exchanges. We will buy the coins there, and there's already rumors and there's already kind of a bit of a vibe in the market. This is the price of Leo coin now over just the last week or so. We captured this snapshot, and you can see that there's undeniable upward trend, because there's a bit of a rumor going around, there's a bit of a market support thing happening. And where we launched this product to the Chinese, and they had it live first. We now launched it on a global level, and suddenly the buying support that this product creates, without any benefit to the company, really. The company makes its margin as it always does, but the member, the customer, the purchaser gets 100% of the value that's been created. Creates a situation where if you engage with this quickly, you'll be getting more digital assets than at any time in the future will ever happen again, because the price will start to rise. All of our issues around the Leo coin price and the dramas and the woes that caused the first mouse to leave the building and dump his coins cheaply, the beneficiaries of that is the small community that has stayed with us and loyal, most of them including you on this call. You will have the benefit. So we've created a small community of loyal people that are kind of a bit loaded with Leo coin, and there'll be a massive wealth transference from the first mouse to the second mouse, if I put it that way. And that means that we have something very, very cool, where the quarterly rewards goes into your wallet. This is all externally based. We're not talking about any internal platform. We're talking about now going out into the real world of market forces and the external exchanges. Now, if you look at the prices of Leo coin today, that's as low as they will ever be. The people who purchase the product first will be the people that get the greatest benefit, because next week the amount of Leo coins will be less because the price of Leo coin will go up. But of course, the week after that, and the month after that, and the 6 months from now, and a year from now, the same thing applies. But it means that I can't promise this, but I can see the market forces, and they are inescapable in their logic. Creating a buyer and creating a buyer's demand drives the price of any asset up. So it's quite cool. This is now live. You can buy this product now, and frankly, you should. The people, the early bird gets the worm. It's as simple as that. And the amount of reward that you'll get from this in its kind of launch phase will be extraordinary compared to 6 months from now. Even 6 months from now, it'll be brilliant. But today, it is absolutely crazy. So that's kind of fine. Let's talk about Leo coin then, and where we are with this. And I've stolen this from what Mihir Magudia presented to the executives in Cambodia. They have had an absolutely brilliant trip, and I've been plugged into them and speaking to people every day, different people, both in the field and on the corporate side. We had people who never thought they would go to a place like this, that went to this. They went to the largest temple, arguably the largest temple, historical temple in the world, called Angkor Wat. And this lady, this person saw this thing, and the sun was rising in the jungle, moisture in the air, and mists rising, and there was kind of a spiritual vibe around this, and she was just touched to the point of tears, talking about her gratitude for Leo, for giving them this experience. All of that is fine, but what we also did with our executives, we trained them and showed them what's going on. So we have successfully migrated now to Leo coin 3, to the Ethereum platform. It's available on wallets, it's all working, it's all a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we've kind of grown up now in terms of digital currencies, and we actually have sort of something to be really quite proud of. What we also have parallel to that is an international community. And these aren't the people, these aren't as handsome and good looking as all of you guys are, but this is what the Leo thing is at the moment. We now have a global spread to our business with interconnected people. So people in the Philippines have organizations in Africa, people in Africa have organizations in Europe, people in Europe have organizations all over the place, etc., etc. So we have an international global network and spider's web of people who are in the same business, who are in the same way of thinking, but who have different attraction points. One of the attraction points, and that's built into the business model of Leo coin, is this staking mechanism. This goes back to the very, very early days. It was one of the big innovations that we did, and it's there, and it's one of the key drivers of our business, because if you have 1,000 coins, you know, over a year you get 10%. If you have 50,000 coins, you know, over a year you get 20%. And we've managed to retain this and build it into our award platform, our rewards platform, and this has now gone live. And we have a very, very intelligent mechanism for this, and it's kind of a bit foolproof, and it's a bit funky, and it's a bit cool. And we've done this innovation where we create a really big incentive for people to acquire and hold on to their Leo coin, because they can then get a better kind of proposition than any bank could give them, a better proposition than pretty much any investment that's out there. And again, I don't want you to think about this in terms of investments, but it is kind of a very cool thing that if you imagine that you had 50,000 Leo coins in your wallet, and a year later you have 60,000 Leo coins. What the Chinese have done with this is they've turned this into kind of effortless shopping. You can spend your 20% staking reward and not cannibalize your main staking amount. So it just goes on, and it kind of turns into, I don't know, again, I hesitate to use the words, but it kind of turns into free money that they can go shopping for. And then they've acquired merchants and created a merchant program where there's people who are selling goods and services for Leo coin. So it's quite a funky idea. You add into the mix now a rising price scenario, that not only is your Leo coin giving you a staking award, the amount of coins are actually starting to increase in value. And then we have quite an extraordinary scenario. So say that we could create a program that acquired into our community new members. One of the things that I've said to you for years now, since 2014 when we launched Leo coin, I've said to you, the only way that the value of Leo coin goes up, there's no magic button, there's no magic slider, there's no way for us to set the price on it, because it's traded on external exchanges, and there's a supply and demand mechanism in place. But say that we created stakeholders that suddenly wanted to acquire 50,000 Leo coins because they wanted to get into that highest level of staking program. What then happens? Well, let's think about that. Because if we consider the Leo coin economy, and we have a lot of dead accounts, and we have a lot of people that have sold their Leo coins, and we have a lot of other people that have acquired, but say for argument's sake that we're talking about 150 million, if I make a small observation on supply and demand, say that 50,000 Leo coins give you a 20% annual return. So say that we were able to create 3,000 people who wanted to get that. We now have 3,000 people aspiring to acquire 50,000 Leo coin. That turns into 150 million coins that they are looking to buy or acquire or get. And here's my question to you. Where are they going to get them from? And I'm pausing there. They're going to have to get them from the finite supply that exists in the world, which is our second mouses. All of you are holding the Leo coin that all of them want to get. If they want to get the Leo coin from you on an external exchange, they're going to have to buy it. If they are competing with each other to buy it, what happens to the price? The logic is inescapable, because what will happen in a buyer's market where people want to buy and there is a finite number of people that want to sell, the price of the asset goes up. It's as simple as that. Now, what is the magic that will make this happen? Well, it is the 10-10-10 program. The LMS Exchanges product will do the initial hike of the prices because of creating its own buying demand. So the price over the next week, over the next 2 weeks, will start to nudge up. It might spike up and go to 10, it might go to 20 cents, it might go to 30 cents. I don't know, I can't promise anything, but it will go up because there'll be some buying support for the coin there. We're already seeing that people are reluctant to sell the coins cheaply, so that's interesting. But that's not enough to take us all the way home, I don't think. I mean, it might be, but who knows. But the 10-10-10 is this thing that, I don't know, it kind of revealed itself to me. It kind of downloaded into my brain based on some of the experiences I've had in the past and some of the customer acquisition programs that have been wildly successful in previous companies that I've worked with. Because 10-10-10, it started, I don't know if you remember, there was a webinar a few weeks back where I was talking about what I realized. I got to 59 years old, and which is my age now, and I know that's incredible to believe because I'm actually feeling younger than I have done for 20 years. It's the most extraordinary thing, but that's another story altogether. But I'm 59, and I thought, well, hold on a minute, I'm here on the planet, I'm really passionate about what I do. I've never aspired to retire. That's never been my kind of thing. So I guess I'm going to be working hard for the next 10 years, and that will take me through to 69. And then 69 is a different sort of watershed mark, and I thought, I'll be 69, and then the next 10 years takes me through to 79. And the next 10 years takes me through to 89. What would be a reasonable life plan for me now? I still have young children. I want to see them through university. So the next 10 years, I am committed to looking after hearth and home and looking after business. So the next 10 years, I got to the conclusion, I'm going to be the CEO of Leo, and I'm going to drive this business forward hard. I like to work hard. I'm passionate and committed. So the next 10 years is going to be me being the CEO of Leo, driving this business forward. When I'm then in my second 10-year period, I think I see myself becoming the president. I'll still go to a monthly event, maybe. I'll go to a quarterly thing. I'll go and wave, but I'll hand over the heavy lifting and the reins to younger, more powerful men, if you like, if I put it that way. That's kind of my little inner vision. The final 10 years, I'll be the chairman of the board. I'll come to the global annual conference. I'll be that little old man that you sort of wheel up on stage, and we all love Dan. He's the guy behind all of this, but he is getting a bit old now, and bless him. So my plan turned into, in my head, the 10-10-10 plan. Then I was thinking about this other thing, and I was kind of mulling it over, and I was thinking about it, and how do we sell this? How do we explain it to people? And the 10th, I woke up one morning, I swung out of bed, and I suddenly had this brain download. I don't know if it was from God or a higher spirit or my unconscious, but I realized that the program is the 10-10-10 program. We will give you the opportunity to experience exponential explosion, because that is the thing about a program like that I'm about to reveal to you. If you have 10 plus 10 plus 10, you kind of have 30 years. You have 30. But if you have 10 times 10 times 10, you have 1,000. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. So exponential growth is what we know in direct selling really, really well. So how do we create that in a program? That's where the name 10-10-10 came from. So you will have the opportunity to go to market. The company won't do this. This has to be done by the field. And you will offer people for free £10 worth of product to join the 10-10-10 program. The £10 worth of product will be some of the, I think, most inspirational trainings I have ever done based on some of the things I've learned in the last 2 years. Challenges, difficulties, tests, a test of faith, a test of hope, a hopelessness. There's kind of things that I've learned in the last 2 years that I've put into some trainings that are, in my opinion, some of the best work I've done as a trainer over my entire career. So this will be Dan Anderson training, and it'll make the Lion Code look pedestrian. This stuff here is kind of good, and it's from my heart. It's an e-learning product, but it's worth £10. There will be BP and RP on it, and I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But it's basically get something for free. Now, I understand that it's kind of, how should I say, e-learning, and it's fine, but people say, well, it's just an e-learning product. Yeah, it is, but it's kind of also a route into the program, and it's a route into something big, because the next 10 in the 10-10-10 story is sign up 10 people. You sign up 10 people, we will give you £10 worth of Leo coin. Not not coins on a database, not some sort of scammy thing, but coins on the blockchain, coins that will be tradable on the external exchange. And here's what's very, very cool. £10 worth of product, sign up 10 people, get £10 worth of Leo coin. Before they're even unescrowed, in the dynamics that I'm seeing happening, they will have already doubled in value. They will triple in value. They will double in value. They will tenfold in value before they can even do anything with them. So the 10-10-10 program is something that I know will work. It won't work in all our markets, because in some markets people say, well, £10, it's neither here nor there. But in some of our markets, in some of our biggest, most powerful markets, £10 has real value, changes the lives of people. Changing the lives of people, it gives something real to people that they want, and it actually has real value. You can do something for £10 in certain of our markets. So what we have is some markets will engage with the LMS exchanges, some markets will engage with the 10-10-10 program, and the markets that engage with the 10-10-10 program will recruit shed loads and bus loads of people that are then used in the other markets to tell the story. Our community has gone from 500,000 people. It's gone to 600,000 people. It's gone to 800,000 people. It's gone to 1 million people. Now, let me ask you this. When we have 1,000 new people come on board with the 10-10-10 program, how many of them over a first few weeks, maybe a training or two, maybe some exposure to the network, how many of them will want to upgrade? How many of them will want to become a member? Well, it might only be 10%. It might be 1 in 10. It might be that just 1 in 10 people want to join you in building their future and building their professional development, their personal development, and building a network, getting involved in entrepreneurship. So maybe only 10%. Notionally, let's say that this program over a period of time added 1 million people. 10% goes into the network as an extra 100,000 people in your teams. 50,000 on your left, 50,000 on your right, depending on where you are in the network, right? If they start to do anything, that turns into something. Now, this is for the existing network as well. So for between bronze and executive, there will be BP and RP on this, not full £10 worth of BP and RP. It'll be a portion down, but it'll be something to get them moving. The full details of this will come over the next few days. The points that are generated in the network will be flushed within 2 weeks. That means that if you have a new person who starts to sign up people, and maybe signs up 10 people in a fit of enthusiasm, maybe some of them start to sign up 10 people. Within 2 weeks, we will have teams that build several hundred people from nothing. And there'll be some BPs. Someone at the bottom there places an order for a causes product. They buy a bronze packet. There's £150 there in the bottom of the network. They will earn no commissions unless they upgrade. So the idea here is, you want to earn commissions, you need to upgrade, and we will encourage them to upgrade with the Leo Causes product. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Now, so the points will be flashed. KYC will be integral to the program. This is a reward-based program based on you recruiting people into the Leo community, into the Leo coin community. Not cats and dogs, not dead people, not pets, not fake accounts. Fake accounts will be terminated, and the people who create the fake accounts will be terminated. The upline leader of systematic fake account creation, should that happen, I've seen it before, will be terminated. This is about building the Leo community, not about cheating a program. So KYC will be integral to the program. The £10 reward of Leo coin will kick when your 10 people have verified their mobile number and their email address. If they want to earn commissions, they will have to do the full KYC, of course, like our program already, like our business already requires you to do. But here's the kick. Here's the kicker. You want to earn your commissions? Upgrade with a Leo Causes product, the £150 bronze package that helps kids get education and schooling. You want to get staking rewards. You bought into the Leo Coin Story. You have £10 worth of Leo Coin Story that today is worth £20 because the price of Leo Coin has gone up. That's interesting. How do I get more? Oh, there's a 20% staking program here. How do I get to that? You have to acquire 50,000 Leo coins. Where will they get it? No matter what percentages you put on this, you put a small and realistic percentage on people who want to upgrade. That does amazing things. You do a small percentage on people that want to get into the staking and want to become full Leo Coin community members. That does amazing, amazing things. Now, why Leo Causes? Well, here's the thing that I'm moved by. These pictures that you see now, they're obviously from the Hilly School in Nepal that we've built in the lower right-hand corner there. That is the building, the school that you built for children in 2 communities, 400 kids going through education in a community where no people, no families went through formal education. Their parents did not, their grandparents did not. There's now a new generation of kids that are getting formal education in the community because we did that work together. But there's also pictures from Cambodia. The top 2 pictures on the left-hand side and the right-hand side is what the executives are looking at tomorrow and experiencing tomorrow. This building is in full process. They're going to be looking at a twin site of another school that we weren't part of, but there's now a village that is getting the benefit of a Leo school, a Leo Causes thing for their children, just because we can. There's also pictures here from a project that is just going live now. This is an early announcement. The legwork has been done. The project has been created. The financial analysts have had their say out of it. The engineers and the architects have worked on it. And there's a school being built in Kashmir as well. So this last year has been a tough year. This has been difficult. We've had challenges. We've had legal battles. We've had all sorts of things that I've had to deal with. This has been a tough year. And in a tough year, we've got 3 school projects. We have literally got thousands of children every year going through the opportunity of education. Now, we believe in education. We believe in training. We believe in expanding brains. So if the 10-10-10 program has an upgrade path where a free member can purchase a product in order to be entitled for commissions, and he and his product is giving him the social cause training products, as well as making a financial contribution to another school project, maybe one of these 3, maybe in another market, maybe in his or her market. How good is that? The front end of our business has now become, you can join for free, you can get something for doing something, there's a trade-off there, but if you want to play, your product is changing the life of children around the world. Now that is a cool business that we can be incredibly proud of. In a world where the scams are here today and gone tomorrow, where OneCoin comes and rapes your market and then crashes and burns and leaves people high and dry. No. We have a different business model where we leave something behind for your community that makes a difference into generations. So this is a big PR story, and it's a big thing that I can feel incredibly confident about. I just love this progression of the community. Let me do that for you again. This is where we are today. This is where we're going tomorrow. This is where we're going the day after tomorrow. This is what's going to happen to our business. It's just the coolest thing. Now, what gets measured gets done is the management consultancy mantra. What in direct selling, what gets incentivized gets done. We will incentivize our people to build the community. We will give them gifts to give to people that will move and motivate them to. We can apply micro adjustments to that. We can say for a week, we will give them £20 worth of Leo coins instead of £10 worth of Leo coins. We can do all sorts of things. So I know that this will build. What we then are doing is we're building the largest digital currency community in the world of people who are engaged because they have a stake, they want to do something. People like you, but 10 times more than you, 100 times more than you, 1,000 times more than you in terms of numbers. Only good things can happen from that. So any issue that we have with LeoCoin and its price is sorted out. It just starts to rise. The front end of our business is clean as a whistle because it's free, and then you can do a charitable cause product. The drive into Leo causes gives us the PR story and the feel-good factor, and something that we can go to bed at night feeling incredibly proud about. You speak to your executives and the people who've been in Cambodia, speak to the people who've seen the Nepal school, go and look at the one in Kashmir, and you will get what this is about. Now, the effort, the lever, and the spark, to come back to that story then, the effort is Leo working together. Certain markets will drive the Leo Marketing Service Exchanges because that's what will float their boat. Other markets will drive the 10-10-10 program. The 10-10-10 program drives mass recruitment that the people selling the LeoCoin, the LMS exchanges product, will then drive the market with. In other words, there's a positive feedback loop. More people equals more story. It makes it easier to sell the products, makes it easier to sell the programs. This will run like crazy through the Generation X's, through the younger people, through the universities, through those people that want to be part of digital currencies but never got it. It'll run like crazy through the aunts and uncles who don't quite get it, but with a helping hand from you and your team can educate and train them. The spark that drives it all forward is the rise of LeoCoin price, which you will see over the next few days, next few weeks. And what holds it all together as something that we can be proud and congruent about is the Leo causes, because we are then helping children get the most out of their life. So my next 10 years and my 10-10-10 plan will be very, very inspiring. And then yours as well, of course, because together we will build 100 schools. We will build 1,000 schools. We will build 1 million people. We will build 10 million people in the LeoCoin economy. We are now ready because everything is in play. We've got the geographical spread. We've got the IT backbone. We've got the LeoCoin architecture. We've got the digital currency, and we've got the blockchain. And we have the external exchanges. Everything is coming together. We have kind of this thing that I talked about before of rekindled purpose. Because I bet you many of the people who've been with us since 2014, they kind of have been wondering, will this ever happen? It's happening now. What happens? What happens is all good things. We are making a dent in the universe. We are doing something here that could be extraordinary. Now, when is this all happening? Well, the 10-10-10 program is obviously a play on £10 worth of products. Sign up 10 people, get £10 worth of Leo coins. So that's the 10-10-10. It's launching in the next 10 days. Boom. Now, I have an expression that I've used for many, many years. It was a little bit my strap line. It was a little bit my kind of the thing that I would finish a training on. See, what will happen with all of this? All good things. And all is good. Everything happens for a reason, and everything comes together in its right time. We are dealing with all of the challenges. We've dealt with many, many challenges that you don't even know about. We're dealing with some grit at the moment, and it's kind of just par for the course that this is what a business is. All is good. So I would like to thank you for your kind attention. I'd like to thank you for coming on this call. This is the largest webinar we have ever done. It is the most extraordinary thing to think that I'm speaking to so many hundred of you. So I'm very, very excited. Watch this space for the announcements, but this is the time to get ready to get ready. Use the LMS exchanges because you will kick yourself. I mean, I'm telling you now, I don't have to sell this. I don't care if you buy it or not, but if you don't sell this to people that want to get involved in our business this week, next week they will kick you And they'll say, why didn't you encourage me to buy it last week when the price of Leo coin was this? Now it's twice as much and I'm only getting half as many coins. So this is the week to push it. It's there, it's available now, and the early bird gets the worm. It is just the way it is, and I've seen it time and time and time again, I need more information, I need to understand better. Of course you do, and that's your right and that's your prerogative. But this is the time to move. And then everything is driven from this. And by the time we're launching the 10-10-10 in 10 days' time, there'll be a rising Leo coin market that will be so attractive to the new people to get involved in. Because it might only be in the UK or in France or in Sweden. It might only be £10. But then if you understand the concept, well, next week it could be, that £10 could be 20. Next week that £10 could be not 20, not 40, maybe it's 50. So it's a way for people to get involved and have a dabble without doing anything except sharing the good with other people. So Dan Anderson saying, thank you very much indeed for your kind attention. Be of strong faith because all is good. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, just before I click off as well, just want to say that next Monday's GAM is quite an important one. You should probably be on that as well. And I don't want to say more than that, but there'll be some very big announcements on that as well. So thank you very much. Ciao for now. Bye, 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 bye.